am I doing something wrong?
Tell your client what lot they're on. You need to start embracing that idea. You need the information.
Oh my gosh, here we go again.
All right, I am here to fix your biz. Tell me all the things. What are we solving today?
Today, here's my biggest thing that's been happening lately. I started level up pricing last year, and it went amazing. I had all these great clients, and at first people were hesitant to book, and then when it started happening, it just started happening, and I was thrilled. So fast forward to this year, I'm having a much harder time.
Ooh,
With
this is a
booking
year.
clients. It's a really weird year, and I'm like,
Yeah.
am I doing something wrong? But the way it goes is I have the whole discovery call, and normally it's with, I should back up and say a lot of what I do is senior portraits.
Cool.
So I'll be on the phone with the mom and the senior, and we talk about everything, and I go through the whole process and all of the great things that we do, and they love it. And then I come to the part where I talk about the price, and like you always teach us, we're very transparent with at least the session fee, the credit, and then how much each image is.
Right.
And then after I say that, then I'll say, does that all sound good to you?
Yep.
And almost every time the mom will say, it does. I just have to talk to my husband. And then I go, in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go again.
Oh my God. Yes.
This
The dreaded,
is my big dilemma. It's almost every time.
I need to talk to my husband. Oh,
Yes.
We love those words.
Yes, we do not love those words.
No, we do not.
No.
Okay. So now let me ask you this piece just to clarify. I'm not sure if your script perfect, but let's just check. When you say your question before you ask your closing question, are you painting the picture of the biggest sale they could have? In your script, are you using the phrase, and some people spend $10,000 or more? Is that in there?
Okay, so here's the thing. I was doing that every time. I would say some people spend in the low thousands, and some people spend, get wall art for different rooms or albums, and they spend $10,000 or more.
Yeah.
And so literally at that point, people were like, okay, thank you. I'll call you back or whatever. And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to dial that back.
Yeah, even worse than when we talk to my husband is the whole, I gotta go, bye. Okay.
Yes. Oh, it was like immediate. So I'm like,
yeah,
maybe that was in my mind. I just said maybe that $10,000 number was a lot to put out there, at the start. So then I said how much each image is, and I said, there's a range of what you can spend. Depending on if you're going to get wall art or albums or however you're going to showcase your portraits. And
that's unusual because you're saying there's a range in what you can spend, but then you're not actually telling them the range. You're just saying a range exists, something exists.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So let me tell you the philosophy behind, before we go too deep into this, the philosophy behind why it's so important to actually say the range. And your range might be some people spend 10,000 or more. I mean, honestly, based on the type of session I'm talking about, sometimes I've said you might spend 20,000 or more. It's really going to vary based on what is the dream that you're cooking up together. But it's so important to have that anchor. And what I talk about is I think about it as tell your client what lot they're on. So let's say you're shopping for a car and I've got $35,000 to spend. But, maybe I can stretch it because almost everybody does. They will stretch their budget. So if you go onto a lot, and let's say you're going onto the Lexus lot. Now, I didn't know this until I became a Lexus buyer myself, but did you know that there are $100,000 Lexus cars on that lot? Are you aware of that?
Yes, I am actually.
That's pretty expensive. You are, this, right?
Yeah.
You get the luxury world, right? The luxury world, if you were going to buy a car and you were on the Lexus lot, you're going to find cars from maybe 30,000, certainly up to 100,000. That's that lot. Now, if a buyer says, whoa, I didn't know there's a $100,000 car here. This lot is too expensive for me. They might be more comfortable going to another lot. So then you've got the Kia lot. And with Kia, sure, they can maybe find a car that's 15,000. Maybe they find a used car that's even less. On the top end, maybe they're finding that 40K car. So looking at these two lots, client one is like, I have $35,000 to spend. So if I'm at Lexus, I'm going to be spending at the very bottom of that. And I know I'm going to be tempted to push my budget up. That might be too rich for my blood. But if I'm on the
Hmm.
Kia lot, I'm very comfortable there. I can spend at the top of this lot. Maybe this place is better. But this is the internal conversation a client is having with them. And I will tell
Yeah.
you, the $100,000 car, when I first bought my Lexus, it didn't make me scared of Lexus. It made me attracted to Lexus because
Right.
I was now like, oh, I have a car brand where there are $100,000 cars. I am
Mm.
truly buying luxury. And I was that person that had a $35,000 budget and stretched it to 42,000. So I
Right.
now own that Lexus because of the way that I found my way onto that lot and all the prestige that came with that. And there's a whole nother lot we're not even going to talk about, which is Rolls Royce.
Right. Right.
So Rolls Royce, it's like on that lot, cars are 100,000 to 400,000. So clearly with the 35K budget, you do not belong on that lot, right? But it's good to know it exists. Who knows? Dreams can happen. So what I
Exactly.
want you to tell your clients, and the reason why I think it's so important to tell them that range, you need the information. You need the response from them. You need to know, are they okay on this lot or not? And you need to go from there. And even I'm going to suggest that with the people saying, well, I got to go talk to my husband, that actually might be the same reaction as someone who's like, I got to go. Because we know
Yeah.
when someone says, I got to talk to my husband, what are they truly saying?
I don't think we can do this, but I don't want to make you feel bad. I don't want
That's
to hurt
right.
your feelings.
Yeah, they are
Right.
letting you down easy. In both cases, they're trying to get off that lot. so
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a chance. I always want to, believe in my client and give them the benefit of the doubt that they can be anyone can be my client. Of course they can. Anybody can stretch if they want to afford luxury. Of course they can. So I always believe in my client, give them that benefit. But what I would do in a situation like that is this is literally what I would say. I would say, so let's say you're my client and you go, all right, well, I'm going to talk to my husband about this. And you're trying to get off the phone really quick. I would say, that's so great. You should absolutely talk to your husband about this. This is an important family decision. But hey, before you go, can I give you one more idea? That's what I do.
Okay.
Before you go, can I give you one more idea? And here's what that idea would sound like. I have the ability to serve two different clients on my lot. Most Lexus lots do have used cars. They do have promotional things. There are ways that your brand, even a luxury brand, can have a discounted option for people. And that's when you would go into something like the mini marathon. And I have had really big, wonderful, dreamy clients on a mini marathon. They're not my $10,000 clients, but hell, I'd love a $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 client, provided that there are 4 or 5 of them on a day, right?
Right.
Because now that's a $5,000 day. So I love that. So I would say, let me give you one more idea before we go. We have this other option. And then I share with them what that is. And yes, if you have the way to do some kind of promotional rate that you have to set and you have to make sure doesn't cannibalize your other business, then
Hmm.
you can then pitch that promotional idea to them. And then you say, so with this in mind, which option do you think your husband's going to like best? And you will be
Right.
shocked how many times the client says, oh, well, you know what? Actually, that one sounds perfect. I think he'd love that. Should we just go ahead and book that? And now you have a booked
No
client
way.
for real.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, but this is what I was thinking. First of all, I've never done a mini marathon.
Mm-hmm.
I have not done any of those yet. But
Mm-hmm.
also, if it's a senior portrait session, all of mine are done outdoors. So, how
Uh-huh.
would that work? Would I be able to make something like that work, or is there a different type of promotion? Because I'm all ears for this. Like, I would love to
Yeah.
have a back pocket offer like that, but
Yeah, so
I
much.
don't have it because they're all
Yeah.
custom.
Okay, well, now you do portraits in studios, right?
Yes, but not a
Okay.
lot.
Okay. Okay.
And never for seniors.
Okay. So you have to start embracing the idea. Now, does it necessarily have to be in studio? Doesn't necessarily, but I think there's a lot of advantage to having it in studio because if you imagine that you're going to do multiple shoots over the course of a day, you don't want to be shooting in noon in August and then,
No,
at like 6
exactly.
p.m. in the winter where you've got no light. So having things in studio gives you a lot more predictability through the day so that the 10 a.m. time slot is every bit as good as the 4 p.m. time slot. You don't want to
Oh,
create too
that's
much
true.
variance between these. So, what I would encourage you to do is to start falling in love with studio portraits. Because right now you're very much in love with senior portraits on location. And so
Hmm.
your passion and excitement is radiating to the client. They will always want what you want. And so if you're super excited and only excited about outdoor seniors, that's what they're going to want. But there are so many amazing senior photographers who do really cool looking stuff in studio. And so you need to start like embracing that idea and trying that idea and seeing what you can create. I mean, you already have good studio portraits, you just don't have it in this genre yet. So you need to start
Yeah.
expanding into that and embracing that. And then before long, you're going to say, wow, actually, well, of course I know how to pose. And of course I know how to light. All I'm doing is just adding a new location. So it's not a massive fear factor, it's just a tweak.
That's true. There are photographers that I love that do them
Yeah.
in studio actually, and they are
Yeah.
senior portraits. So maybe I
Yeah.
that's certainly that's nothing I had ever thought about doing for seniors.
Yeah.
So, I like
Yeah.
that idea.
Good. I'm glad you can get past that because sometimes people just stop right at that block and you're already kind of opening up to it. So that's really good because you just have to
Yeah.
try it. But as soon as you start enjoying it and you let your clients know it is an enjoyable, delightful thing, they're going to follow that lead and they're going to love it. And it's just like, with anything, let's say, okay, because let's think about the concept of promotional sales. If I really want to buy something from Saks Fifth Avenue, I'm going to go in on the day I want to buy and I'm going to pay full price. But if I don't have the budget to buy everything full price, I'm going to wait and I'm going to make compromises. Like maybe I'm waiting till they have a sale or a gift card offer. Or
Mhm.
maybe I'm waiting until the season has changed and it's a slightly different look than what I would get at the beginning of the season versus when the season winds down and then things go on sale. So it's okay in luxury businesses for clients to accept a compromise. They do it all the time. And they'll do it gladly because at the end of the day, if I have something that, oh, well, let's say in September it was full price and then by mid-November it's on sale, I still have a piece of Saks Fifth Avenue clothing. Like I'm still really excited to have that beautiful high-end product, even
Mhm.
though I didn't buy it at the very peak that it was released? So your
Yep.
clients are making choices and they're making choices that align with their budget, that align with the way that they can solve problems that they have. Now, I want to just give you one other idea of a problem you can solve. I'm glad that you're embracing studio, but let's say you're just like, but I really, really want to give my clients that taste of outdoors because seniors love that. They love that
Right.
sense of something that's authentic, like kids are used to outdoor photos because they're taking photos with their phones all the time. So
Yeah.
if you could create something in or around your studio that has a lifestyle look or has an outdoor look, like for example, we do right outside our studio, there's a parking lot and it's just black asphalt with a white sidewalk. But right on the other edge of that, there's trees and grass. And it looks really beautiful. And we pose our seniors leaning on the tree, walking down the sidewalk. We just get a low angle. So everything looks beautiful and bokeh in the background. We can do it at different times of day because it's shaded. So, you can create something. There is something in and around your studio that can give you that different kind of lifestyle look that will make you and your senior really happy.
Okay, that makes sense. And there
Mhm.
is, I mean, there are flowers and
Yeah.
trees and
Yeah.
grass and stuff. So I would have to explore it. I never thought about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but maybe I should look at
You
that. And so what
should.
kind of offer would you give them in that case, as opposed to the custom session? Would it be like,
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I would give them the mini marathon offer as seen in the $3,000 headshot. I would totally give them
which
that
I
offer.
have, I
There
have
you
that
go.
workshop. So there we go.
You need to go
Okay.
revisit that section because you might have even missed. There is a section called the $10,000 mini marathon that's included in that workshop. And it shows you how I do senior portraits in this way. And even the idea that we're talking about, getting a little outside the studio, getting a little lifestyle, that's all included in there. So you can do any mini marathon provided that you got to make rules around this. It can't be like, no, you can't go to the premium location that everyone wants to be at. I mean, that's just going to cannibalize your customs. You don't want to do that. But if you have
Exactly.
rules, like my main rule is mini marathon is primarily studio, custom is primarily location.
Hmm.
Primarily, I still have little ways I can deviate, little ways. The other thing is mini marathon is always one person. Custom may be more people. So you have to start to make these rules. And obviously, senior can work with both. So you can do senior one person outdoors, senior one person studio. It works.
Yeah, that would work actually. I mean, I always offer family
Yeah,
sessions during their senior session
I love
because we're
that.
already there, but that
Yes,
would be custom.
that would be
So that makes
custom.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah. And here's the other way you have to think of it. You know, from Level Up that I talk about that idea I won't hate you if you won't hate me.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
you do not want to create pricing where you feel resentment like that. No one feels good about that. Like if you're like, oh my God, I put in all this time and all
Hmm.
this love and care, and I did all these locations and all these outfit changes. Oh my God, the client only spent $1,000. That's
Yep.
going to feel terrible because that is not hitting your goals. On the flip side, it's going to feel bad to your client because they're like, wait a second, I just spent $1,000 and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Like,
Yeah.
no
Right.
good.
Right.
So
Right.
if they are truly on a tight budget, you may not be the photographer of their dreams. If they are truly working with, say, hundreds of dollars, a shoot and burner might be more a better match for that budget. But if you could offer them something at $1,000 that feels luxury because it's in your gorgeous studio and
Right.
it's creative because you love the studio look and you love what you can create with the flowers outdoors. If you can still honor the core of who you are as a luxury photographer and they get that taste, that's where they get that Saks Fifth Avenue on sale and they feel
Okay.
good about it. And so that's a way that both people can win. You have to honor their budget and you have to be real about things. Because if I was doing outdoors, whole family, plus senior, plus all the outfits, multiple locations. If I'm
Yep.
doing that, is absolutely unrealistic, downright disingenuous for me to pretend someone's going to only spend $1,000.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I have to tell them some people spend $10,000 or more. I have to show them that expensive Lexus, and this might be something you're tempted to buy. I have to be real like that because otherwise, I'm not being transparent about my pricing and I'm messing up my expectations and theirs.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you say some people spend in the low thousands? Is that how you start, like the
No,
range?
I just say the range. I just say the one image price all the way up to 10,000 or more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the core of
Okay.
this, here's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying, like, back to our original question. We are trying to take that client who's like, I need to get off the phone. Like
Right.
you have
Right.
freaked them out. They need to get off the phone. But do they really? Because could there be another option for them? If you follow the pattern of mini marathon 100%, there could be another option for them. And you can just let them know, hey, let me just share this other idea with you. And now they have more to think of and they're like, ooh, wait, I can still work with you? Because now at this
Mm-hmm.
point, at the end of the discovery call, they have a bond with you. They understand that you're going to try to solve their problems and that you've unearthed pain points that you and only you can resolve for them. So they really do want to work with you. They do want to move forward. And if you can say, here's how we can move forward, now you're going to see that your conversion goes way, way, way higher. So our conversion, as expensive as our average client spends, we are at 50% conversion. So for
Right.
being the most expensive in my market and yet still converting one out of every two clients, that's a
That's awesome.
result of the mini marathon.
Okay. But like, what if
Hmm.
they don't say, what if, like, because some of the times they don't mention money, they just say the husband thing. So for me to say, oh, well, maybe it's too expensive for you. Not that I would ever say it like that,
Yeah.
but for me to assume that that's why is
Well,
probably
listen,
not right either.
we're not just making things up, right? This is like
Yeah,
99%
I
of the
know.
time.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're a woman who likes luxury too. You've said this
Yeah,
line to salespeople before too. Like, this is how we as a society politely get out of situations we shouldn't
yeah.
be in. Like, sticky
You're
facts.
100% right. That's so
Yeah.
true.
And what can happen, because honestly, to your question, this has happened in the 1 to maybe 10% of times that they just generally need to talk to their husband. They'll
Right.
say, well, those are two great options. And you know what? I think we are leaning towards that custom one. Let me just talk with my husband. And now I can go to my whole favorite question, which is the permission to reconnect. I can say, fabulous. I'm glad I laid out the two options for you. I love that you're leaning towards custom too. I think that's going to be great. Would it be cool? Do you think that you'd have time to connect with your husband tonight And could I call you tomorrow and we can just firm things up with your session fee payment then?
That sounds good.
They're going to tell you. They're going to tell you one way or another. But the problem is right now, you don't have any information you can act on because they are just getting off the phone and now you never hear from them again. And now the sale is dead and you never had the chance to overcome the objection because the objection wasn't stated. The real objection wasn't stated.
Exactly.
So when you give two options, the real objection will now start to come out because they will say, oh, well, no, actually, it's not about price at all. They might even volunteer that. They might just say, no, it's not about price at all. We just really need to check her sports schedule, or it's not about price at all. I just really want my husband to be in on the family shoot. And I got to make sure it works with his calendar. Something will come out. But what will also likely come out is they'll say, wow, that second option, that we can work with. That's what's usually going to happen.
I think this is perfect. I love it. Yeah.
We have solved it.
I would expect no less
today.
Yeah, we did. You always do.
Awesome. All right. So you need to dive into that workshop. You need to restudy it, plot it out for your own studio, and do go back to your original script for the customs even, because I suspect the reason why you were having so much success that first year was because you're probably doing things pitch perfect. And then you know what happens. We start to get a little lazy. We forget to look at our script. We don't always have it in front of us. And we start losing really key elements. And so the very key element for you is going to be anchor high, but have a fallback. And I think you're missing both of these pieces right now. You're neither anchoring high nor having a fallback.
Okay, I'm on it. I will let you know.
I love it. All right. Good luck on your senior season. We'll talk again.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye, Megan.
Bye.
Thank you.
Want to fix your biz? If you're a professional photographer or aspiring pro, you need to join me in the best business group on the internet. Rise to the Top with Megan DePiro. Ask your business question in the group and you might just be my next podcast guest. Join now at rttt.life.